Creating a great puzzle game can be a bit tricky. Matching up great gameplay with enough challenge that is done in the right ways can be difficult. And there's a new one called Rayon Riddles now out on the PlayStation 4. But is this game the uncrowned king of puzzle games, or should it just stay locked away? In Rayon Riddles Rise of the Goblin King, you are playing as a group of goblins. Their kingdom is in ruins, and they're trying to re-establish it by escaping their prisons as they're being held by evil orcs, and you have to solve puzzles using different items, creating things, and of course using your mind in order to outsmart the orcs and the other enemies you'll have to deal with in order to try to keep going. As you begin the game, you have control of one goblin to get the basics, but soon you'll add party members, up to 3 party members for your goblin group, along with the king, who you're kind of just leading along the way. Most of the time, you're not going to be able to advance through areas until you're able to get the king to go with you. The king's basically a giant oaf who really doesn't do anything beneficial whatsoever, but you're pretty much forced to help him. The 3 goblins that you get to switch between once you have them all in your party, they'll all bring different skill sets to the table, such as the tech goblin, who is able to, well, use machines and make things, and then you have like the heavy goblin, who's able to pick up large objects. The game is broken up into several different levels with multiple objectives in each of the stages. You have a general idea of what you're kind of supposed to do, though the game doesn't do always the best job at giving you what you need to really accomplish. Everything in the game is done by finding items and interacting with other objects, which should be pretty easy, but just picking up an object in this game can be rather difficult at times because you have to make sure that it's highlighted, that you are on the right item, then press the X button in order to pick it up. You also have to be able to drop it or put it into the different things that you need to use it with, which also is extremely difficult as the game seemingly fights you, and a lot of times I passed by objects that I clearly needed because it just didn't highlight, so I didn't think it was a pick-upable item. I later found out that if you hold down the L2 button, you can see every item on the map that is interactable. This ends up helping, but still at times it can be difficult to get the things to do what you're trying to get them to do. And once you complete one objective, your next one usually will end up coming to you, and then it's more kind of running around and trying to find an object that you need. Even when you know what the object is, finding it is usually the most difficult part of the game. And sometimes the items end up getting buried, or even sometimes falling through or getting stuck in other objects, so they're really hard to even locate. The game tries its best to throw in humor, and there is plenty of creativity when it comes to solving some of the puzzles, especially as you get farther into the game. There's sometimes where you'll find blueprints to items that you won't even need to create in order to solve the main objective or anything, but they end up leading to some funny moments. And because of the nature of this game in general, it is a slower paced title. You're going to have a lot of moments where you're just running around trying to find that one object you need, or you're going to be running across the entire length of the map to grab something and then bring it back to wherever you needed it. This wouldn't be bad if it wasn't for all the tech problems that the game ends up having. Besides the clipping and falling through the world, you also have extreme frame rate issues, just kind of moving the camera to look around things. It ends up chugging from time to time. There's a ton of texture pop-in. In fact, cutscenes would play sometimes and my characters had no texture on them. It was just completely white eyes, which ended up being a bit creepy and unnerving. The game has kind of a claymation look to it overall, which just ends up looking bad. I don't think they quite reached whatever they were trying to do here, and a lot of the animations just end up looking off. There was also a sound issue where sound effects ended up playing either after they were supposed to or before they were supposed to, whatever animation was going on. The load times are dreadful. Just loading back to the main menu or trying to get to the next level ends up taking a good 30 seconds to a minute to do so. Rayon Riddles is available now on the PlayStation 4 for $11.99. It does actually feature a full trophy list including a platinum, which is one of the highlights here. Overall, I like what they were going for, and there's going to be people out there that can really get into the game, and I think with a few improvements, it would be a much better overall experience, but it's just hard to overlook the technical issues that the game ends up having. I also didn't like the fact there was no checkpoints during the course of stages, so for example, if you have a longer level, and the levels do get longer as you go in, you have to complete the level all in one go. If you try to back out to the menu or anything, you'll have to start the level over from the beginning. With everything said, I'm going to be giving Rayon Riddles Rise of the Goblin King a 3 out of 10. But anyway guys, that's going to wrap up this review. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course I hope you enjoyed.